Today's video, I'm going to dive into 5 editing tips that you can utilize in your next wedding film so that you can tell better stories. So if you are new here, this channel is all about giving you the confidence to lean into a full-time career as a wedding filmmaker. So if you are into that sort of thing, it would mean so much if you consider subscribing. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Tip number 1 is about finding the story. The best way to find your story is before you edit. You want to get to know your couple and learn as much about their relationship and the wedding day beforehand. This will not only help you be prepared on the wedding day, but it will also help you have clear goals and intention behind your filmmaking decisions. But let's paint the scenario where you didn't have enough time to really dive into your couple's relationship and get to know them beforehand, whether that was just a time constraint or a last-minute booking, and you still want to tell a really great story for them. Really, in that case, make sure you are showing up emotionally on the day. And what that means is to have emotional awareness so that you can sense what's happening, anticipate the moments, and really get a feeling of what's really naturally unfolding. Emotional awareness is key to bringing out the more unique qualities from the day and taking a small moment and using that as the main theme. An example for this could be Shannon and Ryan. They were among the many COVID reschedules, and during that time, they had a beautiful daughter named Quinn. And while filming the day, Quinn was really an integral part of their day and symbolized a light in the dark. So having her as a focus point was going to be really important for the couple. Jumping into a few technical ways that you can find the story, what I like to do is have a notebook handy where I jot down notes, I jot down little one-liners, things that I find really impactful and that could really drive the narrative. And then jumping into my editor, I'm creating my multicam edits, ceremony, speeches, letter reads, pulling out the best parts from these moments, generally anything that pertains to the couple, their relationship, maybe something that was funny that really showcases and highlights their personality.
He said, "Can I grab your butt?"
One useful tool in Final Cut Pro X is creating markers. And this is insanely beneficial to keep me on track and letting me know that, hey, this part right here at 1 minute and 30 seconds was a good narrative piece and that I can reference later. But if you are working in Premiere, one benefit that I found was using pancake timelines, having one timeline on top that had all of my narrative pieces, and then on the bottom was my main editing timeline. Use whatever technique that works best for you and your workflow. But the tip here is just to label all of these moments so that you can reference them later. Tip number 2 is music. And music can be one of the more challenging areas of wedding filmmaking because you can spend, honestly, days trying to find the right track that serves the story that you're trying to tell, that serves your couple and their personality. So what are some ways that you can alleviate this part of the process? The easiest way is to search for songs before the wedding day. Try to find a couple songs that you can consider utilizing for this edit. This also helps getting to know your couple beforehand so you can kind of get a sense of their personality, what music that they like to listen to, really just getting a sense of their vibe, and that way you can base your decision off of that. This will not only save you time from an editing perspective, but also from a filming one as well. Going deeper into intentional filmmaking by letting the music guide you can really help you capture moments beautifully. When it comes to building out your soundtracks for your film, I like for the first 30 seconds to be something with a bit more energy to really draw your viewer into this film. The next part of your film, I like to have a song that's really slow and inviting and that can really draw your viewer in emotionally. This could be something more ethereal or ambient or cinematic that really heightens the emotion of what's about to unfold. Some of my favorite artists on Musicbed right now are Chapters, The Invention of Flight, Rory, By the Coast, and a few more that can really help you find the right mood for your story. Now, of course, finding the right fit musically can be challenging if you didn't do your due diligence and got to know your couple beforehand. So the easiest way to do this is by sending them a questionnaire with some story-based questions, what their interests are, what their favorite music is, what do they like to listen to together, just basic questions that really allow you to get to know who they are individually and as a couple. Tip number 3 is get organized. We've all been there. It's, busy season. You're on wedding number 15 on week 5, and you're just really slammed and you just have to have insanely fast turnaround to make sure that your clients are happy and just get these things out the door. So I totally understand having the need to just dump all of your footage into your editor and just start piecing things together, slap a LUT on there and full send it to your couple. But what I learned, especially in 2021, which was an insane year for weddings, this year's gonna be even crazier, is that really by taking the time to organize and cull all my footage and just get everything labeled and just taking that extra time, it really was able to serve the story. It was able to serve my couple in a better way and honestly serve me creatively because I had everything laid out. I was able to really be intentional with the shots that I'm selecting. It's tedious, yes, it's boring, but by taking this extra step, really you're getting familiar with the wedding again. Re-listen to things that you might have missed. So there are just benefits to making sure that you are organized, that you have everything laid out in a proper place. I promise you it's gonna make your life easier and it's gonna make your films so much better. Final Cut is honestly amazing in how you can organize and select your favorite clips. Keyword collections are my best friend. I generally start with building out my keyword collections by parts of the day. For example, details, groom prep, bride prep, ceremony. Really try to make your life easier here and just keep it simple. You don't have to get too intricate unless you work better by having labels for every section of the day. I generally stick with keyword collections and create my favorites within those collections as well. So if you are interested in downloading my wedding day structure for Final Cut Pro, this is available in the description below. Tip number 4 is more of a technical tip, and it's something that honestly I'm so mad at myself that I didn't learn this sooner, but delete your cache files. This is an insane amount of storage that is built up while you are editing your project, and you don't need it. You absolutely 100% don't need these files eating away at your drives. So make sure that after you're finished with a project, and even if you're working on a project and you need to save some space for something else, just go into your root folder, wherever you saved your project file, and delete your cache files. So in my file structure, I have it all laid out where project files houses everything within Final Cut Pro X. It has my cache files, it has my project file, and it has my backups. So I do highly encourage you guys, if you are not doing this, weave it into your process because it will save you so much drive space. All right, and tip number 5 is to ditch the trends and focus on story. Honestly, trends are gonna fade, but story will last forever. I know that editing with the latest trends can be super engaging and really fun at the time, but for long-term longevity, this editing style will fade, right? It will lose its appeal, it will lose its luster, it will just completely fade, and you will look back on this wedding film and just cringe because you're like, why did I do this hyper zoom for every location or drone shot? Why did I do this rack focus for every single transition? Why did I do all these certain techniques? And while they certainly serve a place and a purpose, I just recommend focusing on creating a timeless story. Wedding days are a once-in-a-lifetime moment for couples, and really being intentional and authentic with the way you approach this day is just going to ultimately serve your couple in the best way, not just obviously in the first year, but also 10, 15, 20 years from now. Which is why that when you look at nostalgic pieces like old VHS tapes and Super 8 and all these different elements that really cater to the nostalgic feeling in wedding films, it's so appealing because it's timeless. It feels so real and it feels authentic. But I know that this approach is certainly subjective and one that I'm not criticizing for at all, because I'm certainly guilty of going about the trends and using it to my benefit in the moment. I just think from a service-based perspective, in my opinion, it is better to go with something that is timeless. So by weaving that into your process, you are going to be creating a product that will keep couples coming to you time and time again. All right, well, that is the end of this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around. Big thank you to all the people that downloaded my free LUT that is available in last week's video. If you missed that video, you can check it out up here. And if you are interested in my Unveiled Lut Pack, which does release very, very soon, be sure to hit the red subscribe button below so that you can stay up to date for when those do release. I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on these so that you can use them and start creating beautiful wedding films. Thank you guys again, and until next time, keep creating and telling beautiful stories. Peace.